Welcome to the January 15th, 2025 City of Springfield License Commission meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 5:32 p.m. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for the Springfield Board of License Commissioners hearing held on Monday, December 11th, 2024. Did all commissioners have the opportunity to review the minutes?
Yes.
Any corrections or changes that need to happen? No?
None that I saw.
Good. I make a motion to approve the minutes for the Springfield Board of License Commissioners hearing held on Monday, December 11th, 2024. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Kane?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Dang, I wasn't here.
Oh, thank you. Commissioner D'Antonio?
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez?
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Thank you. Next item is a new petition for beer and wine. This is a continued new petition for a beer and wine license for the Farmer's House, DBA the Farmer's House, located at 600 Bellman Avenue. Jose Cuevas, manager of record. And what we were looking for was to find out, Mr. Cuevas, can you unmute yourself now?
Yes.
What we were looking for did you advertise to your
Yes, we
voters?
do.
He's all set.
He's
to
all
go
set.
forward. Yes.
Okay. In that case, then I make a motion to approve the new petition for beer and wine license for the Farmer's House, DBA the Farmer's House, located at 600 Belmont Avenue, Jose Cuerva, manager of record.
So we have already heard this licensee and
Yes.
Yes.
okay. So the presentation to the neighborhood council and to planning board was for a 9 p.m. closing. Did you discuss that?
Don't recall.
I don't think we had that information when we heard this particular petition.
That's on the letter from the Forest Park Civic Association, and it is in the planning board minutes.
Okay.
I attended the planning board hearing. I think 9 p.m.
9 p.m.
A little early, but I would say maybe 10.
Okay. Jose, how Mr. Cuevas, I should say, how late were you looking to stay open?
I agree with the gentleman right there. 9 is okay, and ultimate late 10, no more like that.
So 10 o'clock is good?
Yeah, 10 o'clock
Okay.
is the most far one. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to keep the familiar ambient in the restaurant here.
Okay. Perfect. Any other questions from the commissioners?
No.
No.
No. Okay. So I would amend that motion to add a closing of 10 p.m.
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Kane,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. The next item is a petition for a new car dealer class 1 new car license for AJAW LLC, DBA AJAW LLC, located at 890 Boston Road, Timothy James Riley, manager of record. Attorney Bonavita?
I would
Aye.
ask that you vote to take this off the agenda. He has not received the special permit, and this is the property where New England Motor Cars has now leased the property from H&F. So for that reason, I'd ask to take it off the agenda. If he wants a file at some future point under a different location, that's up to him. But he
Okay.
should seek he should talk to the landlord, obviously.
Okay.
If he wants to.
Okay. Commissioners, anybody has any questions?
No, agree.
Agree.
Okay. Okay, then I make a motion to take the petition for new car dealer class 1 license for AJAW LLC located at 890 Boston Road, Timothy James Riley, manager of record, off the agenda until he has a new lease in um
A special permit.
and has a special permit.
Second,
Okay, Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Next item is new petition, and this is a petition for a change of location for Assad and Paul LLC, DBA The Hookah Factory, from 296 Cooley Street, Suite number 2 to 436 Boston Road, Assad and a 1 manager of record. And I believe, if I'm correct, Attorney Bonavita, this is should be continued. We
Yes.
received,
Yeah, he hasn't gone to the, been able to go to the neighborhood council yet. It is happening, but not yet. So, Dan Kelly asked to be removed to, or continued, I'm sorry, continued to, February.
okay. I make a,
Well,
any
which
questions
di-
from the
which-
commissioners?
Yeah, which date in February
It's
26th?
up to you, it's up to you.
Well, he still has to go to planning board too.
So should we continue it for the second meeting in February?
I
That would
would
be
suggest
February
that.
26th? Yes.
Yes,
That's fine.
Okay. Okay, then I make a motion to continue the petition for a change of location for Assad and Paul LLC, DBA The Hookah Factory, from 296 Cooley Street, Suite number 2 to 436 Boston Road, Assad and a 1 manager of record, to February 26, 2025.
second,
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Item on the agenda is informational hearing. And this is Power Entertainment LLC, DBA Dewey's Jazz Lounge, located at 232 Worthington Street. Kenneth Lumpkin, manager of record, and this is a review of liquor license and outstanding tax.
If I could, a couple things, to set some ground rules on this matter. Is that okay?
Yes,
First, no one is allowed to speak at this meeting because it is a renewal. It is not a new license. If it was a new license, that's different. This is a renewal issue involving taxes under an ordinance that the city adopted years ago. And, for that, so it's not, there is no speaking. I know some people might have sent letters and emails, that's okay, but there is no allowing speaking on this. Second, Peter, are you gonna recuse yourself?
No, why would I do that?
Weren't you involved or I'll ask you, were you involved in the tax certification process?
Yes,
So I would suggest you recuse yourself, be a conflict of interest. That's what this started with. So, I mean, it's, unless you're intervening as a party,
I don't know what that means.
well, you're entering the hearing as a party, not just a voting. You can't, I don't believe you can vote on it. I talked to the department head involving this, And
Which
it's
department head is that?
Alicia Dace.
Interesting.
And we believe that you should recuse yourself.
Okay.
It's because of a potential conflict of interest. And in this case,
I don't see one,
it
but
is. Well, I'm sorry, but that's the reason. Just so you know.
okay.
Okay, Attorney Bonavita.
So at that stage, you can go forward. I have some more input, but I'll wait till you go through the hearing. And I just want to let you, unless you want me to do it at the beginning. I mean, but what it basically is that I'll be happy to do it now. We know on the next agenda we have two matters involving this ordinance that the city adopted years ago. And there are two others left, and they both are receiving letters that they can, if they wish, if they want to request a hearing, they can. So I just wanted to make you aware of that, and now it's up, it's up to you. To conduct your hearing. You do have to make findings at the end of the hearing. Findings after your vote. And you probably should make them. You may want to make them before you vote. I'm sorry. Make them before your vote. So it's on the record why you're voting one way or the other. And obviously the petitioner has a right to address the commission. I will say he already sent in a letter and indicated that he was not in compliance. So I now just put that on the record. He submitted a letter requesting this hearing to explain why he was not in compliance. And the commission, according to this ordinance, can, and again, it says may revoke, suspend, or deny. So it's up to the commission. So you have to conduct a hearing, allow him to speak, and then certainly you can ask questions and then deliberate amongst yourselves, making findings.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Yes.
In reference to Commissioner Signature, I know he can't vote, but is there a possibility that he can offer information relative to the tax situation?
Well, only if he had intervened into the matter, he would be a party to this matter, just like the petitioner's a party. He would be a party, and he could have given you information, but he said he didn't want to do that, and he cannot vote and cannot deliberate.
Well, I was not involved in the certification of these licenses. That's not done in the collector's office. That is done in the treasurer's office. My role in this was to just compile a list of the payments when they were made in a spreadsheet.
Yeah, that's why it's a conflict. You were involved in the certification process.
No, I
didn't say
did not certify the licensee.
No, I didn't say you did, but you were involved in the process, how it was put together.
I think that's quite a stretch, actually.
Well, I talked to Alicia Days. We went
Mhm.
through it today,
Yeah.
and that's what she suggests. That's what we agreed on. She's in agreement with it. If you have a problem for the future, you can you can contact the Ethics Commission yourself and
Why
ask,
didn't you
explain
suggest
it to
that
them.
this morning? I could have done that today.
Peter,
Interesting that you
I'm
wait till
telling
the
you, we
meeting.
believe you're in conflict of interest.
If you
Okay,
thought that, if
yeah.
you thought that, why did you not tell me that this morning so I could have called the Ethics Commission today and still waiting till the meeting
Because I
starts?
thought you knew it.
How would I have known that this is a
Because
surprise
you
to
know
me?
you participated in a tax certification process.
Wow.
process.
Yeah, okay. Wow.
I never was asked a question. No one ever asked me. We sat and met down today and made a decision.
Thanks for including me. Interesting.
Attorney Bonavita, we do have a couple of questions. One is there a rule that says participant can't speak on renewal license? And, you know,
What's that again? I'm sorry.
is there a rule that says participants can't speak on renewal license? Is one of
No,
the questions.
that's our
posted.
ruling because it's not a new license. This is really a procedural matter on a renewal. And it's under a special ordinance. So it's up to you to decide whether someone whether you want to revoke, suspend, or deny the license, deny the renewal. There is Attorney Days and I spoke today, and there is no speaking because it's a renewal license. If it was a brand new license, yes, but not a renewal because it's really a procedural matter, which normally, would just be renewed within the license department. But under the statute, when somebody owes taxes and it's verified and certified, then it goes according to this ordinance. So that's what it is. I know a lot of people have sent letters and emails, and that are obviously, I said that was okay, but as far as speaking, no.
Okay. Councilwoman Whitfield is asking that we please share that ruling with the city council at your earliest convenience, please.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Councilwoman.
I know who it is, but I'm just asking, what did she say?
Please share that ruling with the city council at your earliest convenience.
Well, it's not a written ruling. This is our decision because it's a renewal. If you know the renewal process, it does not involve input. It's done procedurally in the licensing department. The applicant sends in an application. It is processed. It's either renewed or it's not. And if it's not, if it's a fail, it would happen what's happening right now. You'd have a hearing according to the ordinance. So I'm sorry, but it's not like it's a written ruling. This is something we had to decide on in the office, and Attorney Days instructed me that, and I agree with her because of the type of hearing it is, and because of the actual what's going on. It's a renewal. It's not a new license. If it were a new license, she could speak.
Okay. Okay, that's it for questions other than comments that they should be allowed to speak if that is the case. Okay. So for the hearing, who is allowed to speak?
Well, I would the petitioner first.
Okay.
I would just put on the record that he sent in a letter, admitted he's not in compliance.
Okay.
And after that, and the list shows he's not in compliance. So under the ordinance, he will be allowed to address.
Okay. Mr. Lumpkin, are you on?
Yes, I'm here.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, are you doing the presentation yourself or you have someone that will be
I have
Mr.
my counsel with me. That was my next question is Mark Esposito is on the call. He's my counsel on this matter. So I would ask if he could speak first and
Yes.
I can follow up with further detail.
Okay,
Thank you. The request tonight for this board is very simple and straightforward. We are asking that the board or the licensing authority exercise the discretion that it's given under the relevant city ordinance to allow the liquor license associated with Dewey's Jazz Lounge to be renewed, even though there is an issue with property taxes and business improvement district fees owed by the property owner. Based on records, on the city's records, it appears that Power Entertainment or some agent acting on its behalf since December 30th of 2022 has paid a little over $92,000 in property taxes and business improvement district fees associated with property that it does not own. And not only property that it does not own, but other property owned by the landlord that is not actually the site or the premises where Dewey's Jazz Lounge is located. So as a result of the landlord's failure to remain current on those obligations, Dewey's and has been forced to bear the burden of all the taxes pertaining to 222 to 226 Worthington and 232 to 236 Worthington, which my understanding is includes both residential and commercial units, and is certainly far beyond the footprint of Dewey's itself. And again, this has resulted in Dewey's paying over $90,000 to the city in the a little over about 25 months or so. And the ordinance does allow the board to exercise discretion not to revoke or decline to renew a license, even when the property owner's taxes are not fully current. And we are asking the board to exercise that discretion in favor of Power Entertainment and Dewey's, and allow it to renew the liquor license so that it can remain in operation. And Mr. Lumpkin also wanted to speak directly.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. And yeah, just to add to that, I think he covered 90% of the issue. I think it's important, you know, I've said on this, obviously, I've sent you guys a few letters as well, and just sitting on it, I think it's important to zoom out and understand. And this is my ask to the commission here is understanding the point of, or what I would assume is the point of this tool of the ordinance, which is used to collect taxes. And I fully understand it, and in many ways it does make sense. However, in this situation where this is year number 4 for us, and this is the first time I've asked for this hearing. I've kind of bit the bullet the last 4 years, and when we were in a financial position to take care of taxes that are not mine, we have done so. This year, we have not, it's been a down year economically. I just lost All-American, and it is financially, it's not a pretty scene right now, and we want to continue operating and serving this community. However, we can't do so if we're in a position where we're taking care of, even despite everything we've dealt with economically and the things we can't deal with, such as fires, We have done everything in our power to maintain and comply and do everything within our right to operate. And we are kind of at our wit's end at this point, and we are relying on the commission at this moment to use their discretion so we can continue to operate as we've been doing for the last 4 years without being impeded due to the neglect of our landlord. We have currently 25 people on staff that if this is ruled, if this is not renewed, I have to break the news tonight that they don't have a job tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Lumpkin. Any questions from the commissioners?
Mr. Lumpkin, has any action been taken towards your landlord to help you correct the situation?
So
I'll allow my counsel to address that.
Sure.
And so there is ongoing litigation between the landlord and Power Entertainment. And it is one of the issues in the litigation that there is a dispute about the landlord essentially taking the position that Dewey's is responsible for all of these taxes, even though they don't own any of this property. So, I mean, this is an active subject in ongoing litigation.
Is the taxes the only default, if you want to say, or like any other thing, is like the water and sewer bill, anything that's responsible towards the landlord in default? Any other bills or anything of that nature?
Do you know the current status of that, Kenny?
As far as I know, the water bill that we had, it's been twice now that we've had to pay a water bill because the landlord, I think it's intentional that they've stopped paying their bills to put us out of business. So I don't know the current status. I know our water's on today. We've received pink notices probably twice, 3 times a month, but our water's on today. So that's all I can answer at the moment. I don't know the status of his bill.
Now, the water bill, is it under your name or the buildings?
The building.
Okay.
Our water main is so we have water that controls Dewey's and water that feeds the 6 residential units above Dewey's. The landlord refused to split that water main, so the bill is not in our name.
I got nothing at this moment.
Anyone else, commissioners?
Yeah, I just got a question. Was there something that transpired that made this a bad relationship between you and the landlord? Something happened, something transpired?
No, it was a surprise to me when we received the first notice from his attorneys. But based on his track record going back to the OMG Comedy Club and the other 4 or 5 commercial tenants that he has evicted, it doesn't seem like he has a good relationship with any of his commercial tenants.
If I may, I don't know if Kenny or your attorney want to answer this question. How long's your lease with this landlord at this moment? If you may answer, please.
Mark, I believe we have, is that 2027, summer 2027? We just exercised our extension last December, so.
Yeah, I apologize. If you just give me a moment, I can locate that. I'm sorry, do you want to address it? Are there any other questions while I look for that information?
Has there been any other, like, has he tried to evict you for any other reason?
Nope. I don't know if we should discuss, I would assume we should not discuss anything revolving the current case. But the first time he attempted to evict, that was dismissed by the court for obvious reasons.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Just, yes, please. This has been going on since 2022?
2021 to be exact.
And the initial lease term was 3 years and 6 months. And then there was a 3-year renewal period. And Power did exercise its option under the renewal term. So I believe there's about 2 years left. Does that sound right, Kenny?
Yes, I believe so.
Any other questions from the commissioners? No.
I got one other question. Was there a legal document, Kenny, that you signed in reference to that you would take care of the taxes that you signed through the city?
Yes, I fulfilled that the last 3 years. And I would also like to take a moment. I do see a copious amount of individuals. I think there's almost 47 people on this call. I know that the commission, I also want to thank you guys for hearing it, but I do want to take a moment to appreciate and really send a sincere thank you to everyone on this call who has sent a letter. I know this isn't what you guys look forward to on a Wednesday night, but I do appreciate everyone on this call who is in support of Dewey's, has been in support of Dewey's, and took the time out of their evening to be here.
Any other questions or concerns from the commissioners? No. Okay, I think that as commissioners, we should discuss you know, what is what are we thinking? How do you feel we should move forward as commissioners?
Sam, I'm just reading the ordinance real quick.
Well, my position basically is we're not in the business to close businesses. However, the city, in some way or form or shape, has to receive taxes on the building. And how we do that is something that we need to discuss.
I do have a question, Mr. Lumpkin. Your original request was for us to extend your license until the day of the court hearing. Am I correct? In February?
No, the request was to extend it. We have a court hearing or another date in February, but just based on how this has been going, where we've attempted to, we've done our best to, I believe, Attorney Bonavita's point is we have done our best to work with the landlord, and we simply don't understand what, where they're going with it. So even if I were to, say February, we don't know what we're going to get in February. So the ask is, at this point, the ask is for us to have our license renewed for 2025. And to Commissioner Cade's point, allow the tax collector to figure out a way to hold property owners. I think it's property owners accountable for what they owe. The same way I own 459 Dwight Street, and you guys don't have to call me to pay those taxes. It's what I'm asking. I'm a
So-
tenant. I'm a tenant, and I'm paying for 9 units. I'm paying for property I don't occupy.
Are you currently paying rent to the owner?
We're exchanging what we've been paying in taxes in lieu of rent, because it's almost double what we'd be paying in rent. So I'm paying more than rent, plus the bid fees, plus the water bill.
So I think that, my question is because originally you requested an extension until February 16th, if I'm not mistaken. And you are now saying that now you have changed your mind and just want the license for the entirety of 2025, correct?
So I think I'm in, on December 31st, I'm not sure if there was a request prior to that. On December 31st, the request was that there would be a stay until the legal matter is resolved. And we do have a trial date on day 2 of the trial on February 13th. But I don't think it's realistic that we are going to actually have a decision either that day or shortly thereafter. I believe the judge has already mentioned that there's going to be some post-trial briefing, essentially. And I, truthfully can't tell you when the case is likely to be resolved, but I can say we're very unlikely to have a decision on February 13th.
So is there a possibility that you can give us a projection? I know that, you've done this kind of work before. So what would you project the date would be?
I think perhaps within 60 days of February 13th, and that's sort of a good faith estimate, but obviously it could come in faster and it could take longer, but that would be my best estimate right now.
I think it's important to add that our initial trial date was September. So that's what we've been dealing with. This was supposed to be handled in September. So yeah, that's why I put the trial date in that email, but essentially I asked for a stay until adjudicated.
Any other questions? Commissioners? This is our time to pretty much speak and make a decision as to how we're going to move forward.
Is there a public speak out here?
Um,
No,
No.
no, they cannot speak.
Well, I'm gonna say this, Attorney Bonavani, we want Bonavita, we want this in writing. And in the future, if there are rules for this type of meeting, the city council would like to have them ahead of time, because this is not a written ordinance. It is not a written law. And so city council are the ones that make the laws and approve the laws. We didn't get anything in writing that no one could speak. We didn't get anything in writing that Peter Signator had to recuse himself. Usually when we recuse ourselves, we do it ourselves. It's not something that the law department mandates that we do. And so I don't know why this licensing meeting is different or special. And so we will want that in writing as soon
Well-
as you can get it to us.
You
Not,
want
I don't
writing
want
that- you
a
want
voice
in writing that you
response
can't speak? Is
unless it's reading the
that what you're
law.
saying?
I think I lost.
I'm gonna put on the record
Put it
that,
on the record, please.
well, I already put it on the record that I met with Alicia Days today. And she and I decided there was no speak time because this is a renewal.
But is that
This
a
was
law?
operate-
Is that a
excuse me.
law? Is that a department
Well,
rule?
we have to, as attorneys, make decisions on certain things.
According to the
Wanna- if you-
law,
if you just
according
give me
to
a
the
second,
law.
if you just give me a second, please.
I'm gonna give you a second.
I'm going to the.
Because I've been
The
heavily
city
involved.
council, if I may, please.
Sure.
If the city council adopted years ago, section 229, and in section 4. It details, and I'm gonna read it for the record. Two things I'm gonna read for the record. One involves the evidence, use of findings, and the other involves the city council. Now, this ordinance is section 229, and section 4 said the list will be prima facie evidence for the denial, revocation, or suspension of said license or permit to any party. The tax collector shall have the right to intervene in a hearing conducted with respect to such license, denial, revocation, or suspension. That's A. B, any finding made by the licensing authority with respect to this license, denial, revocation, suspension shall be made only for the purposes of such proceedings, shall not be relevant or introduced in any other proceeding at law, except for the appeal from said license denial, revocation, and suspension. Any license or permit denied, suspended, or revoked under this chapter shall not be reissued or renewed until the license authority receives a certificate issued by the tax collector that the party is in good standing with respect to any and all local taxes, fees, assessments, betterments, or other municipal charges payable to the municipality as of the date of issuance of the certificate. Section 229(6). The city council may waive such denial, suspension, or revocation if it finds there is no direct or indirect business interest by the property owner, its officers or stockholders, if any, or members of this immediate family as defined in the Mass General Law 268A. 268A, Section 1, in the business or activity conducted in or on said property. So I suggest you look at this ordinance.
I'm looking at it right now, and can you
Okay.
tell me which part in 229(4), evidence, use of findings, says that no one can talk based on what the licensing department is saying? Read just that line.
Well, I just read it to you and it doesn't say you can. This
It
is a
doesn't-
renewal, which is a special process. And the way the license department does that process is the person fills out a renewal form application and sends it in. The tax department, tax collector, puts together information, does research on their end, and then has to certify, pass or fail, to the city licensing department. The city then, after that, if it passes, it's fine. If it fails, then the city notifies the party, or the party can request. We are notifying every party that failed, okay? And there are 2 left that have to be notified. And those parties then are entitled to a hearing. But the hearing is on a renewal. It's not a new application. It's not, if this was for a brand new license, they could speak. This is not a brand new license. This is an existing license. There's a process that goes on to renew the license. Now, Attorney Days and I agreed on this. So I'm putting that on the record.
And I'm putting on the record that none of this was told ahead of time to give anyone any notice of what you and Attorney Days agreed on. And also on the record about recusing yourself is what we do. It's not normally what the licensing department suggests. So I want in writing the portion that says the licensing department has the right to say, in writing, I want a
I
written
think you should talk
response.
to Attorney Days.
I will talk to Attorney Days
Yes.
tonight or tomorrow. Tonight if she answers, tomorrow if she don't. And I just want it in writing. And I'm gonna request it through Steve Bonacani, the city solicitor, because I just want to understand where it says that in this hearing, whether it's a renewal or not, that you all can determine if people that attend the hearing are allowed to speak or not. I just want that in writing and I will
Well, we
go.
represent the licensing department. We
I
have to
understand that.
adhere to the process. The process does not include some type of speak time. It doesn't say it in the ordinance. And
And
that's
it
all I
doesn't
can
say
tell.
that you can't speak in the ordinance either. It doesn't say that in the ordinance.
Well, it says this ordinance was adopted by the city. The appellate process is to the city council, which you are on. And then after that, if people wish to go to court, they have a right to do that, to the Superior Court in equity. It's an equity matter.
Because
So
we
you have
all,
appellate rights, and the appellate right is to you. So
well,
that's all I can
okay.
tell you at this
Okay.
point in time.
All right, and I'm just gonna reiterate what I said. I want it in writing where it says the licensing department has the authority at any hearing, whether it's a renewal or whether it's a new license, to tell people that came to testify, because we all have testimony on the situation that's going on at Dewey's Lounge. I have been working with Kenny since 2021 to try to get this property owner to pay his own taxes, which Kenny has been paying since 2021. He is now in a situation where he cannot do that. We have worked with Economic Development Office and other offices
I
trying.
think this is going beyond the scope of what you're talking about. Really.
Well,
I
I'm
mean,
just telling you, we have testimony that may help get him a positive outcome in this situation, and we cannot provide it because of a rule that you and Attorney Days brought to the attention of the licensing commission today. So I
well,
think,
let me just say something.
If I may, I think we
Sure.
need to move on.
Yeah.
It's not that it's not important, this conversation, but at this point, we are allowing the pretty much public speaking, and Counselor Woman Whitfield, I totally understand what you're saying. This is not about Kenny as a person, but our responsibility to the city of Springfield as well. So I think that it's already on record, your request. And I think that Attorney Bonavita should probably, address that with Alicia in the legal department tomorrow to get you that information.
I did address, I just want to put on the record, I did address it with her today.
Okay.
And the fact of the matter is, usually if somebody has questions, and it happens all the time, I get called, and I'm not disparaging any attorney that's on here. The ordinance, this is a special ordinance that was adopted by the city. And it is what it is.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
And if I can chime back in, just to kind of, I appreciate the candid response here. I think we're all passionate about our city and what is necessary on from both perspectives, right? To keep the city going, right? We need our taxes collected, but we also need businesses. And I think the most important part, and this is the last thing I'll say on this, and I'll rest my case, is despite whether the ordinance says people can publicly speak or not, the ordinance does say may. And at this point, that may is it leaves this ball in the court of the commissioners to make a decision at their discretion as if they're going to renew or revoke the license. I just simply need to know, am I opening my doors tomorrow, or am I telling my staff tonight that they don't have a job tomorrow?
Right.
Madam Chair,
Thank
I'd
you.
like to
Thank you.
perhaps make a motion. As council indicated that he indicated that at least 60 days out would be sufficient enough to get some kind of feedback as to whether they're going to move forward with the landlord or not. I'd like to make a motion that we continue this 60 days from today.
I'm sorry to interrupt, sir. I meant 60 days from February 13th, which would be approximately 90 days from today. I apologize for interrupting.
And that would be, Andrew, so your motion is to approve the stay the 60 or 90 days from today? Is that your
It
motion?
would be, as council indicated, that he should have some kind of information within 90 days. I thought he indicated 60 days previously.
I apologize. I did say 60 days. I meant 60 days from the next court date, and I apologize for not saying that more clearly.
If all commissioners agree, I would probably move that to 90 days.
Great. So that is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
and Commissioner Espinosa, yes. So this means that this date is for 90 days. In 90 days, we'll revisit what is happened in court and how this is going to move forward. Correct? Attorney Bonavita?
Well, yeah, you can vote to that, but did I understand council correctly that it's 90 days from a particular date in court? Am I correct?
Well, it was 60 days from the day of court. I'm sorry, so, which means it's 90 days from today.
Okay. That's
that
fine.
correct?
So you could continue it to that date. You've already made findings through Commissioner Cade. If you agree with his reasoning, you can adopt that as findings for at this point. And you can vote on whether or not to continue at 90 days. I would go to a specific date though. At that point.
Oh, okay. Can we look at the calendar for the next date? And that would probably be March, April.
It would be April.
Yeah.
When's
So
that meeting in April?
Our next meeting in April is the 9th and the 23rd.
Right.
Counselor? 90 days, basically, not 90 days, but April 9th. Is that good?
You probably would want to go. When is what meeting is after what?
The 23rd.
What is it?
23rd.
And what date are we going to?
23rd, April 23rd.
April 23rd. And that's the date of the meeting?
Well,
Yes.
there's a meeting April
Oh.
9th, and there is a meeting April 23rd.
That's our
Okay, so
commission.
you can address it. You can adopt that date by that date. It would probably, because it's the 90 days falls on the date of the meeting, you'd probably want to go to the next meeting, I would assume.
Well, it
Yes.
would fall for the 9th. So
Okay,
giving
so
him
it's falling
until
for
the
the 9th. Okay.
23rd, we're giving him,
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
April 23rd. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
so we'll
And,
revisit April 23rd, 2025.
can I request if it's possible for a temporary renewed license to be issued, because I believe the current license expires today. So
That's a legitimate request.
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we will see you again. Kenny, if you can call the license office to get that new license, and we'll see you back here April 23rd.
I'll be at the license office in the morning. And is there any way I can get, do you guys make a ruling on this? How do I get this in writing to show the license commission that I need to pick up a temporary license until, do we say April 30th or April 23rd?
April 23rd, and they will review this recording early in the morning. So Edna and Nicole and Attorney Days will be aware of what took place today. So they're either going to call you. I would say give them a little bit of time so they can review the recording and go ahead and put that license together for you.
Okay, and if you don't mind, can we get that until April 24th, just to be safe, as we do operate past midnight, and that goes into April 24th. If this were to be continued once again, I want to make sure we are operating legally.
So we already gave you some extra days. I understand what you're saying.
I'll close at midnight then. That's fine.
Right.
So so you'll be here on the 23rd. So the 23rd, you would know whether you are staying open until midnight or past midnight. Am I correct?
That would be my assumption, but we don't know. It's once again a hypothetical. This will be, we're estimating days here, and I just wanted to just to make sure if we're having another hearing on the 23rd, and it's the day I'm operational until 2 a.m. the 24th. I was just asking for 2 more hours essentially, but it's fine. If that's the case, I can close at midnight on the 23rd. That's fine.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for understanding. Okay. Okay, next item. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is a one-day beer and wine permit for January 17th, 2025. And this is for an indoor event from 5 to 9 p.m. And the event is to be held at 1500 Main Street, second floor at the food court of Tower Square. And this is a brunch at Iona's Kitchen, and the person in charge is Kelly Dobbins. Is Mr. Dobbins here with us today? No. Okay, I make a motion to
Sorry, I'm
continue.
here on behalf of Kelly. This is Anna Dobbins.
Hi, Anna. I'm really sorry, but being that Mr. Dobbins is what I'm assuming the manager of record, he has to be here.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, the event is this Friday, though.
Is this Friday, right?
Right, so we'll just do the event without the wine or beer.
What is your involvement, Anna?
I'm his wife, so everything.
I mean, in this event, are you involved in this event?
The front end, no, just the front end work, and the serving.
Is there any way we can get him on to this Zoom?
Unfortunately, no, he's tied up, and that's why I'm standing in steadfast from. So yeah, he's not able to come today. So, definitely, I wish he was, but he thought with me standing in his place that would be the same. Which is fine. I mean, either way, if we can't do it with the beer and wine, we plan on moving forward with the actual event itself without the beer and wine.
Has this ever, can we ask a few questions and maybe?
I think we should. I think Officer Matter also had some questions. I mean, Attorney Bonavita,
Yes.
can we just hear Anna and make a decision? At the end of the day, Kelly doesn't have a license. I mean, he is the owner.
He's, well,
I didn't bring the application with me, I don't think.
what is the involvement with Iona's?
Well, Iona's is the one we are hosting the evening brunch.
Are you an owner or an employee there?
I am his wife, so I guess I'd be part owner.
So Kelly owns Iona's.
Yes.
Okay, we established that. And that is a vendor in the food court at Tower Square, correct?
Yes, it is.
And this is a for-profit event, right?
Correct, it is.
Okay,
It
because
is.
nonprofit was checked off on the application.
Right, that's just one of the entities that might have been an error.
Okay, so and that's why you're limited to beer and wine because it's for profit.
Yes, sir.
And are all the other food vendors closed at 5 p.m.?
I believe they are. Well, most during its normal business hours, so this is an accommodate. It's outside of our normal hours, correct?
Okay, so you're going to be the only one there. You're not going to have some other restaurant going, what's going on here?
No,
Oh,
no. And usually
okay.
we notify the restaurants around us as well. So they'd like to be involved. Yeah.
I assume you've discussed this with Tower Square management?
Yes,
They
are
that
aware of
this
it.
is gonna happen? Okay.
Yep.
And the entire food court is going to be licensed?
Well, it's only being served out of Iona's kitchen area, not for
Yeah,
anybody else, because we're tip certified there. I can't speak to anybody else.
The dining area, right? All
Yeah,
of
the dining area is open, correct. So if it's beyond Iona's and anybody else was open, that would be fine. I can't say the accommodations. I know he already spoke with Tower Square, so I'm limited as far as the conversation that was had. But to my understanding, yes, they are aware of it, and most of the time, others are aware of the events because it is publicized. And whether they partake in it or not, I can't answer that.
Do you have any security?
The whole Tower Square itself has security, yes, sir.
Tower Square security.
Yeah.
And do you have somebody who's going to be checking IDs to verify who can purchase alcohol and who cannot?
Yes.
And who are those people?
That would be myself and Kelly. We're both tip certified.
Okay. And this is usually we require alcohol at a one-day event like this to be served in a specific colored cup so that it can be identified who has alcohol in their hand and who does not.
Okay.
So, and you can get that from the alcohol provider, where you're going to purchase your alcohol. They should be able, green cups or purple cups or something mean there is beer or wine in this cup.
Right. Okay.
And are you going to give a wristband to people who have been carded?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
So how are you going to prevent alcohol from leaving the food court?
Well, I mean, it is a designated area. So that's one of the first things that we are, and we're not the only people there. He does have other workers besides him and myself. But that's something that we will be looking for outside of the actual the food area.
So somebody is going to be on the perimeter of the food court saying, "Hey, purple cup guy, you can't go."
Correct. Correct.
with that. Okay.
Yes.
And you're anticipating only 50 people?
Yeah, most of the brunches that we do are fairly small. It's not a large crowd at all.
Well, that's another question. This is you're calling this a brunch and it starts at 5 p.m.?
Yeah, listen, you can ask Kelly on that one when you say I don't know. I don't know if it was our lady that does the flyers or not. So I'm gonna leave that right there. You can have that discussion with him afterward as far as the name. That wasn't me.
Okay. 'Cause I saw, oh, beer for brunch. Who's gonna want beer at breakfast? And
Yeah,
then I saw the time.
yeah,
5
not
p.m.
me.
Okay, so 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 4 hours this Friday.
Yes, sir.
And you never done this before, right?
Not at these hours. No, we've done brunches before.
Did you say that the food court is licensed already?
I can't speak to that. I don't
Oh, all
want
right.
to.
I
Yeah,
thought you said that. All right.
no, I don't believe they are.
Okay. But, and you're not, Iona's doesn't have a liquor license.
No.
No. All right. Okay. Mm.
Just one more question. Who's serving other than you and your husband?
That's it.
That's it? Okay.
That's it. Again,
Right.
we don't anticipate a large crowd.
Okay.
Well, you're saying you're advertising this on social media and
Right, but for whatever reason, we tend to bring an older crowd. And I'm not saying, it depends what you define as older. So there's not
yeah, be careful
not
there.
to offend anybody, depending on who's playing music. So I'm gonna leave that right there too. So yeah, in the past we've done them. Even the larger crowds, they weren't very large as far as numbers. To somebody else, it may be a large crowd, not like Ray Berry, big, but
Oh, well,
just a
it can't
few.
be,
So now,
can't be a Bay Area event.
right. So nonetheless, we don't anticipate a huge crowd.
Good.
If I could address something,
Yes.
Peter mentioned, Mr. Signator mentioned about Tower Square. Do we have anything in writing from Tower Square saying that they have no objection to this?
Well, we wouldn't be able to do the event without him, but that's something that we can get done as well. I think he's already spoken with them because he can't move forward without it.
Yep.
And he actually spoke with somebody to confirm yesterday. So I don't think that's an issue.
Well, if somebody could just go to them tomorrow,
Mhm.
if it's not an issue, and ask them if it could just write something out. So I
Sure.
mean, the vote could be subject to verification by Tower Square that they
Absolutely.
don't object to the event.
And
Okay.
I should that, whatever they're putting in writing, mention that their security will be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I agree. Yes.
Yeah, so have them put in this letter that they approve that this event and when and the hours, and that a certain number of Tower Square security personnel will be present.
As far as how many personnel for the actual event?
2 or yeah,
Okay.
how many they'll have there.
Okay.
All right.
So to reiterate, you'd like a letter to confirm that they're allowing this, that there's security in Tower Square, and how many personnel we're going to have and how many are serving. Is that correct?
I believe that should be in there. Everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
That's not that's someone else.
Okay, is
Well-
there a motion?
I think you've done yeoman's work in the absence of your husband.
I don't know. You can ask them about the flyer, the name.
I'm comfortable in approving this with Attorney Bonavita's suggestion.
I don't
Okay,
have a
so-
problem.
So that's a motion, Peter?
I will make a motion to approve a one-day beer and wine permit for the food court in Tower Square to be held by Iona's Kitchen, Kelly Dobbins, the manager of record, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. brunch, and that the licensee will provide to the commission office, hope either tomorrow or Friday before the event begins, a letter from Tower Square management saying they acknowledge and approve that this event is going to happen and that they're going to provide a certain number of security personnel for those 4 hours. Do I hear a second?
Second,
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay,
Good
we'll
luck.
we'll see you on Saturday.
Right? Actually, no, Friday.
Friday.
And you
What
guys can talk to
time?
Kelly when you see him. All righty. Have a
Okay.
good evening.
And good evening, good night.
Good night.
Next item on the agenda is a pre-hearing conference for Rose Entertainment LLC, DBA Rose, located at 555 Worthington Street. Andron Goodrich, manager of record. This is incident of October 26, 2024, offering entertainment after 1 a.m. without a late night entertainment permit, no manager of record present. And our question, we had already met with Ms. Fiore, and she was asked to make sure her license, her application for change of manager was completed. So that is what we're reviewing today.
I will make this one easy. She came in today
Mm.
and filled out a complete application. So it should be put on for 129. Yes, 129.
Yeah.
25 to be addressed on that.
Okay.
Date.
So do we dismiss this pre-hearing conference or continue it? Because
Continue.
Continue it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I make a motion to,
Well,
go ahead.
but excuse me, I'm just thinking out loud here. We know she filed the application.
Yes.
I think you have to continue I would continue the pre-trial hearing conference. But with the proviso that she filed the application.
And we're going to hear it on the 29th.
Commission,
Yes.
how you doing? This is Antron Goodrich.
I don't think it's necessary for him to speak on this matter.
No, because
Okay.
I want my name off the liquor license.
Correct. And
Like
that is
I said,
exactly,
I don't
Mr.
think it's
Antron,
necessary for
that
him
is
to be speaking on
Ms.
this matter.
Fiore, Ms. Fiore, if you give me a second, Mr. Antoine, and that's exactly what we're working on. So, the proper documentation has already been completed and turned over to the License Commission. That is why we're going to continue it to our next meeting, so that at that time, she will have a license and your name will not be on that license.
Right. I think
Okay.
what you should do.
How long is this
She
going to take?
completed it.
For the
Yeah,
record, I filled out the application a couple months ago.
Because I told her in February before she opened I wasn't going to be the manager.
But I was just told today you brought it in today. So I'm not arguing with
No,
anybody.
I sent it in November. Remember the last meeting?
But it wasn't complete.
I was told you brought in a complete application today.
When
Or
she
you
printed
completed
it, the
it, maybe.
signature
I don't
didn't
know.
print. That was it. But either way, there's no way we could vote on it today.
No.
Yeah, because I wanted to be off the. I've been asked since February of last year to be off the manager of record. So I don't understand why it's taking so long.
Everybody knows that I'm in charge here, so.
Okay, and I am not gonna entertain, whatever's going on between the two of you. I will, make a motion to continue, the, rehearing, continue for, Rose Entertainment, DBA Rose at 555 Worthington Street,
All right.
to January 29th, 2025.
If, I'm just, again, I'm thinking out loud. I don't want to. House entertainment,
Listen, I don't care about anything. I just have like a lot of business ventures going on, and I just want my name cleared. Like I don't care about whatever else is going on. I asked since February. That was it. I left it alone. I received a correspondent. I also received a phone call for someone
You
stating
haven't
that my name
received,
was still on
nobody
the license.
contacts you. Can we take him off the meeting? Like
I
nobody
spoke to
I think we
Alicia
should move
Days today.
on. It's already been
spoke
made a
to
motion
Alicia
to
Days
continue,
today.
am I correct?
like I said, I'm not here to start any issues or any problems. I just want my name off the license so I can just start my business ventures
So does everybody else.
And
for other people in the
that
city.
is
That's it.
exactly what we're working on. That is exactly what we're working on. And on, you know, there is nothing I can do tonight. There is nothing the commission office can do tonight. We will look into this tomorrow. Like I said, the application has been turned in. And by the 29th of January, she should have a new license and your name should not be on that license.
Cool. That's all I wanted to know. Thank you. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
and Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Thank you. Have a good night.
Kristen, to answer your question, we can't hear it tonight because it's not on the agenda tonight. You can't hear things that are not on the agenda.
So
Okay.
Peter, if I may, addressing what you're talking about, you're correct. It's not on the agenda to approve tonight.
Right.
It's a pre-hearing conference, so that's why it makes me. We're kind of in between here because we know she completed the application today. When she started it, may have been before, but she completed it today. So the question is, should we go from a pre-hearing for a violation to a hearing on voting on the new application for
Now, tonight?
Yeah.
No,
not tonight.
No.
No. It can't be done tonight.
On the 29th, I would
Right.
definitely agree with
So
that.
I think it should be put on the 29th
Yes,
for
Right.
to address the new application.
Correct.
You could
and
take the
assuming
pre-trial
the
hearing.
assuming the application is correct and complete, and we approve the new manager on the 29th, then this violation will be dismissed.
Right. So I mean, it needs to, but I'm thinking that it may need to be put on, or it does need to be put on as a vote on the actual new application. So we'll probably put it on twice, just like tonight, there's something that's on twice.
Yes.
Be addressing it. So I
Yes.
think we'll put it on for a vote on the agenda on the new application and leave this on.
Yes,
So I'm sorry to do this, but I think you should leave this on just in case there's an issue with the application.
correct.
Well, I don't think that would be necessary because Edna and Nicole have both verified that everything. I sat there for over an hour today because the paperwork that I turned in a couple months ago, I think has changed. It's a different application now. I'm thinking maybe in 2025, the ABCC had updated it because the paperwork looked different.
I'm sorry, I'm talking about it from a legal perspective. I understand what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with you, but as far as you did file the application, we're talking about a procedural matter to put it on the agenda. That's all we're talking about. So it has to be on twice. One for the pre-hearing, one for the vote on the application. If your application is all set, then the pre-hearing will it'll be null and void on the agenda. When it gets to it on the agenda, it'll just be taken off the agenda. Taken off
So
the
the
agenda
29th
to
is when
address.
the vote. That's when the vote will take place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for being here tonight. The next item is a Section 77 final hearing for Assad and Paul LLC, DBA The Hookah Factory, Assad 1 Manager of Records, Section 77, and this is regarding the liquor license and change of location. And if I was in,
Does not have to go forward because it's already on the agenda. We know Mr. Kelly is just finishing up planning board and the neighborhood council, so that can be taken off the agenda.
It's going to be taken off the agenda completely.
Yes.
Okay, make a motion to,
or not go forward on it. Let's put it that way.
I'm sorry.
Not not go forward. You don't have to go forward with it. So
Okay.
it's null and void.
Well,
Okay.
how many continuances are we gonna give them on this? I mean, this has been like a year that they've been moving this
Yeah, well,
license. And
The only thing I could say is they do have an application that's complete and that they're just waiting on the neighborhood council and the planning board, which you acknowledged you
Yes.
had to do the planning board.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, Mr. Kelly is that asked, I talked about it in the office today and we agreed that it not go forward. Could be taken off the agenda because they submitted the application now.
Did he indicate when they're gonna be ready?
I have written down February 26th.
Okay.
I think that's when we continued.
And we
okay.
continued it to February 26th
All
for
right.
our February meeting. Okay?
Yep.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is Graham's Package Store, Inc., DBA Graham's Package Store, located at 1649-1651 Main Street. Richard Lafley Jr., Manager of Record, and this is in regards to the transfer and sales of the package store liquor license. Anybody here for Graham's?
Yes, Attorney Julie Dialesi Lafley. I'm also the representative for the estate as well as for the license. Mr. Lafley's on here as well. I see he's muted. He may be dealing with a childcare issue, but he is on over at Richard's iPhone. So additionally, Attorney Fancy is here, who's representing my buyer. We have an extension that was that has been circulated and signed relative to just kicking our date out. I'm still just waiting on a certificate of good standing from the DOR. I'm going to say, unfortunately, we had filed all of our taxes with the DOR and then was hopeful that we would be done by today. But now I'm into the 2024 filing. So I need to complete my 2024 filing so I can get cleared. So we're just waiting on that certificate of good standing so that the complete application can be filed with the commission. It's done. I've seen the application. It is completed. I'm just waiting to deliver my end of deliverables pursuant to my asset purchase agreement. So our deadlines or our timeframes we are between us extending the purchase and sale agreement to keep it on a short time frame to February 14th. And then we would just ask that you put us over to the February, I think you said the 26th was the next meeting, but hopefully we'll be filed in advance of that and it'll be just a matter of getting it moved forward.
That's all you're waiting for, Julie, is your certificate of good standing?
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Signatory, I'm sure aware that there was a tax failure. My landlord has outstanding real estate taxes, but I've addressed that with the landlord and we have a plan in terms of how those will be addressed. So realistically, and the liens, but we've discussed the lien. And again, I'm not going to pay the lien until I know that the application is going to be moved forward. But it will be prior to the application being filed with the commission, then the lien will be addressed.
A lien on the license?
The lien on the license, yes. It was posted, which is the commission, I
Okay.
believe, was aware.
Okay.
We had talked about that previously. So that's the only, I shouldn't say that's just, but that issue has been ongoing and I've just, I've dealt with counsel for the vendor. But again, until such time as we know that this is going to move forward, we're going to resolve those two things simultaneously. And there's a plan around doing that.
Okay.
Any other
So
questions? from
you
the
think
commission?
you're gonna be done by and ready by the end of February?
Mr. Signator, I want this license to transfer probably as much as my buyer does. So we're working on it. If
Okay.
I had the crystal ball for the DOR, I would absolutely confirm it. I wanted to go out to the 26th, but as a deliverable date and then push us to the March meeting. But my buyers asked that we keep these shorter dates. With respect, I may very well be asking for an extension if the DOR doesn't come through by that time frame. But the expectation is to try to keep this commission happy so my transfer continues to move forward and to keep my buyer satisfied that we're pushing it along as quickly as we can. So I'm hopeful.
If I could add just for full transparency, we do still have to, on the buyer side, go to the planning board because there is an amendment coupled with the transfer, and that's going to require neighborhood council and planning board approval. So that might delay overall getting to the ABCC, but the wheels are in motion.
We're working
Say-
cooperatively.
Say that again, Rachel. It's going to delay going to the ABCC?
No, before we can come for local licensing, because
Yeah.
there's an amendment for the location or the premises.
Yeah.
It's got to go to planning first before it usually comes to local licensing for the hearing. So I did want to just put that on the commission's radar, just so they're aware. And then we come in, February, let's say we have all our T's and I's crossed and dotted. And then, we say, oh, by the way, we're going to neighborhood council next. And you guys did not, we're not aware that we had to go to neighborhood council and to planning prior to that
okay.
final. But I just wanted to make sure that was abundantly clear and not
I
hiding
would
the
say
ball.
as long as the completed application for
Yeah.
transfer is submitted, we're good.
Okay.
Does everybody agree? I mean, that's the goal here, right? To get an application of complete application for transfer to a new location submitted.
Yes, yes, for sure. You're 100% accurate in terms of that assessment.
Commissioners?
Agree.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
The 26th of February is good.
I had that same question in my head because Julie, I think you said realistically, not your exact words, but realistically, okay, we can say hopeful last meeting in February, but realistically more so March, because you feel that you may have to ask for an extension. Am I correct? Or continuance, I should say.
Again, full disclosure, Commissioner, it is possible that we will have to do so, but my buyers asked that we kind of tie these dates up a little bit. So it's approximately a month from today that we're hoping to have the certificate of good standing in hand. If it is not in hand, obviously I'll be in communication with Attorney Fancy. If we need to go to a further extension, we can report that in. Again, based on the dates in our amendment, we are ticking out to February 14th for deliverables, which would then put us on the commission, on your schedule for somewhere around the 26th.
Right.
But again, respectfully, I don't disagree with you that and Mr. Signator, I think, again, it's an optimistic date because we would then have to file, publish, and again, expectation is the application will be submitted prior to that meeting. But it might not be through all of the steps, but as long as we're making forward progress, that's, I think, the end goal.
So question to the commissioners, should we go ahead and continue to February 26th, or should we continue to our first meeting in March, which is the 12th?
I think
Anybody?
I think we'll do March 12th.
I would say 12th, March 12th.
March 12th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
John, you want to make that motion?
Make a motion to continue this to March 12th, 2025.
March 12th, 2025.
Second.
Thank you, Senor.
Commissioner Cade?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio?
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez?
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay, so we hope not to see you on that day because you will call prior to that to say, hey, guess what? We're all set.
I agree. I agree. Thank you to the commission. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Next item on the agenda is the administrative review of incident reports. Our first one is Top Shelf for an incident of December 22nd, 2024. Did everyone have an opportunity to review the reports?
Yes. So Barry, this was really not top shelf, right? It was the Shadow Lounge, which is now called Faces, which was the actual one that was open. I kind of read that. First, it was identified as Top Shelf, and then somebody said it was the Shadow or the old Shadow Lounge.
I thought it was Top Shelf,
Oh,
Top shelf.
honestly.
that-
It's the, obviously it's the same owners, it's the
Right.
same people that work there.
right.
I spoke to them. I didn't get the impression that it wasn't Top Shelf.
Well, one of these reports said something about Shadow Lounge. I don't know which one it was. There's a lot of reports here. But
Yeah.
in any event, it really had nothing to do with the licensee, correct? Somebody drove by and decided to shoot this woman.
There were two groups arguing. One of the groups, the staff was aware that some of those people had been inside.
Okay.
The other group, they weren't sure. They didn't think so. And this happened at the corner. It was before closing time. He had gone out there. He that employee typically puts his car in a way to divert traffic. And while he was doing that, there was an argument. The two groups moved on, and shortly after, started shooting at each other.
Oh,
Female had come outside, apparently to see what was going on, and was struck by gunfire.
oh God. Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
I make a motion to take no action.
Second.
Second.
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Next is Rose for an incident of January 1st, 2025. And this is in regards to a disturbance in the area of Rose. Showcasings were recovered in the following morning. The owner did call the police to report a disturbance, but indicated that she did not hear any shots fired. Barry, can you elaborate?
So there were no calls from the public for shots fired. The only call for service was the disturbance that the owner called in. When officers checked the following morning, when they responded there and found shell casings at 83 Winter Street, they checked with our RTAC, which is the Real-Time Analysis Center, and I think I put it in the report, but there were, they call them insight activations with ShotSpotter, so they don't classify as gunfire. And typically those are not dispatched unless there's call from the public to report gunfire. So officers weren't dispatched to any ShotSpotters that evening. They were dispatched to the disturbance, but because it was New Year's Eve or right after New Year's Eve, they weren't even dispatched till 10 minutes after the owner called. And when they got there, there was nothing going on.
What is this ShotSpotter insight thing? Is it like it can't detect that it's really a gunshot, or
Sometimes it doesn't classify it as actual gunfire.
because it's
So
not loud enough or something?
I don't know if it's the
Volume.
volume or if it's the placement. I know a lot of the issues downtown or in a lot of urban areas is echoes.
Oh.
So you might get an activation in one place and you might get an insight activation close to it, which would be the echoes between buildings.
Oh.
Typically, when there's that many rounds, they're not insight activations, but all I can think is, well, it's New Year's Eve, and I can tell you there were a lot of ShotSpotter activations at the time. I don't know if the system's overwhelmed, but they weren't reported as gunfire at the time they came in, or classified, I should say.
Were the bullet casings in the parking lot or in the street?
So there were both. They
Oh.
found some by 83 Winter Street, which is directly across the street. That's the backside, not the Worthington Street side, obviously the Winter Street side.
Yeah.
And then when I spoke to Mrs. Fury, she had said after she had checked the cameras, and this is in the report as well, that there was a car that was parked on Winter Street, kind of on the sidewalk, almost blocking the entrance to her parking lot. And there was a male on the driver's side and a male on the passenger side. And she said in the video, it looks like they're shooting, which would explain why there were shell casings on both sides. So there were some in the parking lot, closer to Winter Street, if that makes sense.
Okay. Any other questions from the commissioners?
Nope.
No.
No. Then make a motion to take no action.
Second.
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Last one is Nor. And this is for a report, in regards to the arrest of 2 males in the area of 90 Worthington Street on January 4th for assault and battery and disorderly conduct. Manager at Nord, indicated that a male had been removed from the establishment by security for being rude to other patrons, but it is unknown if this male was involved in the fight outside. Barry, can you elaborate?
Basically, the officers were on patrol. They come around the corner. There's a group outside 90. 2 males run out of the group to the middle of the street. They start fighting, basically blocking the road. The officers get out. They place them under arrest. I did speak to Ms. Ford from the manager at Noir. She did tell me that her security removed 1 male. He was being rude to other patrons. She said she later learned that the officers had arrested 2 people, and she was not sure positive if it included that male who had been removed. She said it was about the same time, but she was not aware if it was the same male or not. And she added she didn't call the police because they were already there. So that's basically that.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the commissioners?
No.
Nope.
No. Then I make a motion to take no action.
Second.
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes.
Yes.
Okay,
I could make a motion I'm going to the brunch after tonight's meeting. I'm going on the 17th. I need a drink right now. And I don't drink. Okay.
oh boy. Okay, with that being said, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn at 7:07.
Second.
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Absolutely.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Anthony, I'll see you soon.
Thank
Okay,
you.
have a good night, everyone. Thank you for
Yeah,
joining
see you
us.
later, everybody.